Hello, English learners, and welcome back to Talk English Now. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to practice speaking together with useful idioms and everyday phrases that will make your English conversations sound more natural and alive. Think of this session as your personal conversation coach, guiding you, listening with you, and helping you speak more confidently. You don't need a classroom or a big group of people. You just need your voice, your focus, and a willingness to repeat after me as many times as you need. Let's begin slowly with an easy and very common idiom. Imagine you are planning something and everything is going perfectly. You might say, "So far, so good." Repeat after me, "So far, so good, good." Now, picture yourself talking with a friend. They ask, "How's your new job?" And you reply, "So far, so good." This idiom is short, natural, and very commonly used. Let's practice it again in context. How's your English learning going? So far, so good. Can you feel how simple but powerful this phrase is? Now, let's move to another one. Imagine someone is telling you a secret or something very important, and you want to reassure them. You might say, "My lips are sealed." Repeat after me, "My lips are sealed." Perfect. That means I won't tell anyone. Let's try it in a conversation. A friend says, "I need to tell you something, but please don't share it." You reply, "Don't worry, my lips are sealed." It's playful, but it also makes you sound natural. Another idiom that comes up often is break the ice. This doesn't mean breaking real ice. It means making people feel more comfortable in a social situation. For example, if you join a new class and you tell a funny story to make everyone laugh, you are breaking the ice. Repeat after me, "Break the ice." Good. Try it in a sentence now. "I told a joke to break the ice at the meeting." Excellent. Let's keep practicing with another phrase. Hit the books. What do you think it means? It doesn't mean physically hitting books, of course. It means to study hard. So if you have an exam tomorrow, you can say, "I need to hit the books tonight." Repeat after me. Hit the books. Great. Now say it in context. "I can't go out. I need to hit the books." Good job. Notice how all of these idioms give your English personality and color. They also connect you to real conversation because native speakers use them all the time. Let's keep going. Another useful phrase is under the weather. If you're feeling a little sick, you can say, "I'm under the weather." Repeat after me, "Under the weather." Very good. Use it in a sentence now. "I didn't go to work because I was under the weather." Smooth and natural. Let's practice with something more positive. The phrase "over the moon" means extremely happy. Imagine you get great news, like passing an important test. You might say, "I'm over the moon about it." Repeat after me, "Over the moon." Yes, now practice in context. "I was over the moon when I got the job." Great work. Now let's pause for a moment. When you repeat these phrases with me, try not to just repeat mechanically. Feel the meaning. Picture the situation. See yourself using the phrase with a friend, at work, or in a casual conversation. This way, the phrase becomes part of you, not just something you memorize. Let's test this. Imagine your friend asks, "How are things at school?" What could you say? That's right. So far, so good. Imagine your friend says, "Don't tell anyone, okay?" You could reply, "My lips are sealed." You see how this practice connects the phrase to real situations? Let's continue with more idioms. One that's very common in conversations is a piece of cake. It means something is very easy. For example, if someone asks you, "How was the test?" you can say, "It was a piece of cake." Repeat after me. A piece of cake. Good. Now, in context, the exam was a piece of cake. Excellent. Another expression is once in a blue moon. This means something happens very rarely. Imagine your friend asks, "Do you go to the movies often?" You can reply, "Only once in a blue moon." Repeat after me, once in a blue moon. Good. Practice again in context. We go on vacation together once in a blue moon. Nice and smooth. Now let's try cost an arm and a leg. This means something is very expensive. For example, if you buy a new phone and it was really costly, you can say, "It cost me an arm and a leg." Repeat after me. Cost an arm and a leg. Great. Now say it in context. That car costs an arm and a leg. Perfect. One more before we pause. Let the cat out of the bag. It means to reveal a secret, often by accident. For example, if someone told everyone about a surprise party, they let the cat out of the bag. Repeat after me. Let the cat out of the bag. Now, in context, he let the cat out of the bag about her birthday surprise. Excellent practice. You're doing amazing. Gee, so far. And remember, don't just listen. Shadow with me. Repeat with me. Let your voice practice the rhythm of these idioms, because the more your mouth forms these sentences, the more natural they become. That's how you build fluency, step by step, phrase by phrase, until it feels effortless. Let's move into more practice with idioms that describe everyday life situations. Imagine you are talking about someone who is very active early in the morning. You can say, "She's an early bird." Repeat after me. Early bird. Good. Now, in context, my mom is an early bird. She wakes up at 5 every morning. That phrase is often used to describe people who wake up and get moving before others. And of course, there's also the opposite, someone who stays up late. We call that person a night owl. Repeat after me, night owl. Yes. Now, in context, I'm a night owl. I like studying late at night. These two expressions are simple but fun, and you'll hear them often in conversations. Another phrase you'll find very useful is back to square one. This means to start over because something didn't work out. For example, if you tried to fix your computer and made it worse, you might say, "I'm back to square one." Repeat after me, back to square one. Now, in context, the plan failed, so we're back to square one. Notice how this expression adds more feeling to your English than simply saying, "I need to start again." Let's continue with burn the midnight oil. This phrase means to stay up late working or studying. If you have a project or an exam, you might say, "I burned the midnight oil last night." Repeat after me. Burn the midnight oil. Good. Now in context, she burned the midnight oil to finish her assignment. Phrases like this make your English sound richer and more expressive. Now let's practice a phrase that describes someone who is very quiet or shy. We say, "A fly on the wall." This means to be there but unnoticed. For example, I'd love to be a fly on the wall during their conversation. Repeat after me. A fly on the wall. Perfect. And in context, he just sat there like a fly on the wall. This expression gives a picture in the listener's mind, which is what makes idioms so powerful. Here's another useful one. Bite the bullet. It means to do something difficult or unpleasant that you cannot avoid. For example, I didn't want to go to the dentist, but I had to bite the bullet. Repeat after me. Bite the bullet. Good. Now, in context, she finally bit the bullet and told her boss the truth. This idiom is great for building confidence in your conversations. Now, imagine you want to describe a situation that is very confusing. You can say, "It's all Greek to me." That means you don't understand it at all. For example, "This math problem is all Greek to me." Repeat after me. It's all Greek to me. Great. Now practice in context. When I read the instructions, it was all Greek to me. Remember to say it with a little expression in your voice because that's how native speakers use it. Let's try another idiom about not revealing your feelings. Keep a straight face. It means not to laugh, even when you want to. For example, I couldn't keep a straight face when he told the joke. Repeat after me. Keep a straight face. Now, in context, she tried to keep a straight face during the meeting. Perfect. Now let's pause for a short reflection. You may notice that many idioms use animals, food, or funny images like cats, birds, cake, or flies. That's what makes them memorable. When you repeat them, don't just think of the meaning. Imagine the picture. If you say, "Let the cat out of the bag," really picture a cat jumping out of a bag. If you say, "A piece of cake," imagine eating cake that's so easy and soft. These mental pictures help you remember and use idioms more naturally. Let's keep going with a phrase you'll often hear in work or study settings. Call it a day. It means to stop working for now. For example, if you've been studying for hours, you can say, "I think I'll call it a day." Repeat after me. Call it a day. Yes. Now, in context, we were tired, so we called it a day. This is a very natural phrase you can use when you finish something. Another idiom is hit the nail on the head. It means to describe exactly what is causing a problem. For example, you hit the nail on the head when you said we need more practice. Repeat after me. Hit the nail on the head. Now in context, he hit the nail on the head with his suggestion, smooth and powerful. Here's a common one you'll hear in many conversations. Spill the beans. It means to reveal a secret. It's similar to let the cat out of the bag. For example, she spilled the beans about the surprise party. Repeat after me. Spill the beans. Now in context, he accidentally spilled the beans during lunch. Great practice. Let's do another one. The ball is in your court. This means it's your decision or responsibility to act. For example, I've done my part, now the ball is in your court. Repeat after me. The ball is in your court. Good. Now, in context. The teacher explained everything. Now the ball is in your court to practice. This is especially helpful in conversations where decisions need to be made. Let's add some everyday expressions too, because idioms are powerful, but phrases are just as important. For example, you can say, "That makes sense." Repeat after me, "That makes sense." Now imagine a friend explains something clearly and you reply, "Ah, that makes sense." Another one is, "I see what you mean." Repeat after me, "I see what you mean." This phrase shows understanding in a very natural way. Let's put it in context. "Thanks for explaining. I see what you mean now." These small expressions make your conversations smoother and more connected. Now let's practice a phrase for giving advice. Better late than never. This means it's better to do something late than not do it at all. For example, he finally apologized. Better late than never. Repeat after me. Better late than never. Now, in context, I started learning English at 30, but better late than never. Excellent. You're doing great. At this point, let me remind you, if you're enjoying this lesson, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. Every time you support the channel, it helps us bring you more lessons like this one, and it also keeps you motivated to keep learning. So, thank you for being here and practicing with me today. Now let's keep the practice flowing. Another phrase you might like is break a leg. Don't worry, it doesn't mean to actually break your leg. It's an expression used to wish someone good luck, especially before a performance. For example, you'll do great on stage, break a leg. Repeat after me, break a leg. Perfect. Now in context. She told me to break a leg before the exam. Fun and friendly, right? Another one is hit the road. This means to leave or start a journey. For example, it's getting late, we should hit the road. Repeat after me, hit the road. Good. Now in context, we packed our bags and hit the road early in the morning. This phrase is especially useful in casual conversation. And finally, for this section, let's do on cloud nine. It means extremely happy, similar to over the moon. For example, I was on cloud nine after hearing the good news. Repeat after me, on cloud nine. Good. Now, in context, he was on cloud nine after winning the game. Another happy phrase to keep in your English toolkit. Take a deep breath now. You're learning, practicing, and internalizing these idioms step by step. With each repetition, your English becomes more natural and expressive. Keep going with me, and soon you'll notice that these idioms will just come out naturally in your conversations. Let's practice some more idioms that describe people's moods and behaviors. One very common phrase is in hot water. This means being in trouble. For example, he was in hot water with his teacher after forgetting the homework. Repeat after me, in hot water. Now in context, I'll be in hot water if I'm late again. This idiom is especially common in both work and school situations. Another idiom is pulling your leg. This means joking with someone, not being serious. For example, don't worry, I was just pulling your leg. Repeat after me, pulling your leg. Yes. Now practice in context. She said she won the lottery, but she was just pulling my leg. This expression adds humor and friendliness to conversations. Now let's try the last straw. This describes the final problem that makes someone lose patience. For example, when he missed the meeting again, it was the last straw. Repeat after me. The last straw. Good. Now, in context, her rude comment was the last straw for me. This idiom communicates frustration very clearly. Another useful one is face the music. It means to accept the unpleasant results of your actions. For example, he cheated and had to face the music. Repeat after me. Face the music. Now in context, I knew I made a mistake, so I had to face the music. This phrase is often used when people have to deal with consequences. Let's practice jump on the bandwagon. This means to join others in doing something popular. For example, everyone is using that app, so I jumped on the bandwagon too. Repeat after me. Jump on the bandwagon. Good. Now, in context, he jumped on the bandwagon and started watching the show. This idiom helps describe trends and popular culture. Another one is kill two birds with one stone. This means to achieve two things at once. For example, by studying English while riding the bus, you kill two birds with one stone. Repeat after me. Kill two birds with one stone. Perfect. Now in context. She killed two birds with one stone by shopping and visiting her friend at the same time. This is a very practical idiom. Let's try under your nose. It means something is right in front of you, but you didn't see it. For example, I was looking for my phone, but it was right under my nose. Repeat after me. Under my nose. Good. Now in context. The answer was under our nose the whole time. This is useful when talking about things we overlook. Now, let's work with the best of both worlds. This means having all the advantages. For example, working from home gives me the best of both worlds. I can be productive and spend time with fam. LE. Repeat after me. The best of both worlds. Yes. Now in context. Living in the city but near nature gives us the best of both worlds. A very positive and balanced phrase. Let's continue with out of the blue. This means something happened unexpectedly. For example, she called me out of the blue after many years. Repeat after me. Out of the blue. Good. Now, in context. The idea came to me out of the blue. This idiom is used often in everyday conversations. Here's another. A blessing in disguise. It means something that seems bad at first, but later turns out to be good. For example, losing that job was a blessing in disguise because I found a better one. Repeat after me. A blessing in disguise. Now, in context, the delay was a blessing in disguise because it gave me more time to prepare. This idiom carries a positive perspective. Now let's pause for a short check-in. Are you repeating with me? Remember, don't just listen passively. Let your voice move, even if it feels strange at first. Idioms become natural when they leave your mouth, not just your mind. Shadow the rhythm, the tone, and the flow. That's how your English speaking becomes stronger and smoother. Let's keep going. The idiom hit the jackpot means to have great luck or success. For example, he hit the jackpot when he got that scholarship. Repeat after me. Hit the jackpot. Good. Now in context. I hit the jackpot with my new teacher. She's amazing. This is both casual and expressive. Another idiom is cry over spilled milk. It means to waste time worrying about things that have already happened and cannot be changed. For example, don't cry over spilled milk, it's done. Repeat after me, cry over spilled milk. Now in context, I made a mistake, but there's no use crying over spilled milk. This is a calming and practical expression. Here's another common one, get cold feet. This means to suddenly feel nervous about doing something. For example, he got cold feet before the wedding. Repeat after me, get cold feet. Good. Now, in context, I was ready to give a speech, but I got cold feet at the last moment. This idiom is often used when talking about fear. Let's practice once bitten, twice shy. This means if something bad happens once, you'll be more cautious next time. For example, she doesn't trust easily, once bitten, twice shy. Repeat after me, once bitten, twice shy. Now in context, I won't lend money again, once bitten, twice shy. This is a very wise and cautious phrase. Now let's add some natural everyday phrases again. For example, when you agree with someone strongly, you can say, absolutely. Repeat after me, absolutely. Now in context, do you like this idea? Absolutely. Another one is, not really. Repeat after me, not really. In context, do you watch TV a lot? Not really. These phrases are simple but essential for daily conversations. Another idiom is hit the sack. This means to go to bed. For example, I'm tired, I'm going to hit the sack. Repeat after me, hit the sack. Good. Now in context, after studying, I hit the sack early. This is a friendly and casual phrase. Let's do jump the gun. This means to do something too soon. For example, he jumped the gun and answered before the question was finished. Repeat after me, jump the gun. Now in context, they jumped the gun by announcing the result too early. This idiom is often used to remind someone to be patient. Now let's practice get something off your chest. This means to express something you've been holding inside. For example, I finally got it off my chest and told her how I felt. Repeat after me, get it off your chest. Good. Now in context, he needed to get the problem off his chest. This is a helpful idiom for emotional conversations. Finally, let's practice cut to the chase. This means to get to the main point quickly. For example, let's cut to the chase and talk about the plan. Repeat after me. Cut to the chase. Now in context, she cut to the chase and explained the problem. This idiom is great for keeping conversations clear and direct. You're doing excellent practice. Remember, fluency comes not from knowing 100 words, but from speaking naturally with the words and phrases that carry meaning. Idioms and expressions are your tools. They help you connect. They help you sound natural. And they make your English alive. Keep shadowing with me, and let's keep adding more to your fluency toolkit. Let's begin this section with another idiom that's often used in friendly conversations. Hang in there. It means to not give up, to keep going even if things are hard. For example, I know this lesson is long, but hang in there. You're doing great. Repeat after me. Hang in there. Now, in context, the exam was tough, but she told me to hang in there. It's short, positive, and encouraging. Now let's try barking up the wrong tree. This means blaming the wrong person or following the wrong idea. For example, if you think I took your book, you're barking up the wrong tree. Repeat after me. Barking up the wrong tree. Good. Now in context. He was barking up the wrong tree when he accused her of lying. This idiom paints a clear image, making it easy to remember. Here's another useful one. The ballpark figure. This means an approximate number. For example, can you give me a ballpark figure of the cost? Repeat after me. Ballpark figure. Now in context. He gave me a ballpark figure of how much it would cost. This is often used in professional and business English. Now let's try burning bridges. This means destroying relationships or opportunities permanently. For example, he burned his bridges when he left the company angrily. Repeat after me. Burning bridges. Yes. Now in context. I don't want to burn bridges, so I'll leave politely. This idiom reminds us to be careful with how we end relationships. Another very common one is the tip of the iceberg. This means a small part of a much larger problem. For example, the argument was just the tip of the iceberg. Repeat after me. The tip of the iceberg. Now, in context, what you see here is only the tip of the iceberg. Very descriptive, right? Now let's continue with throw in the towel. This means to give up. For example, after trying many times, he threw in the towel. Repeat after me. Throw in the towel. Now in context. She didn't throw in the towel, she kept going until she succeeded. This idiom comes from boxing, but it's used in everyday life. Let's practice hit or miss. This means something is sometimes good, sometimes not. For example, the restaurant is hit or miss. Repeat after me, hit or miss. Now, in context. His performance is hit or miss. This is simple, but very natural in conversations. Here's another good one. By the skin of your teeth. This means to barely succeed. For example, I passed the test by the skin of my teeth. Repeat after me. By the skin of my teeth. Good. Now, in context. We caught the train by the skin of our teeth. This idiom adds excitement and drama to your story. Let's try rock the boat. This means to cause trouble or disrupt things. For example, don't rock the boat, just stay quiet. Repeat after me, rock the boat. Now, in context, he didn't want to rock the boat at work. This phrase is used in both personal and professional settings. Now let's focus on throw someone under the bus. This means to blame someone else to protect yourself. For example, he threw his colleague under the bus to save himself. Repeat after me. Throw under the bus. Good. Now, in context, she felt betrayed when he threw her under the bus. This idiom shows dishonesty or selfishness. Let's continue with burning the candle at both ends. This means working too much without rest. For example, she's burning the candle at both ends with work and study. Repeat after me. Burning the candle at both ends. Now in context. I was exhausted from burning the candle at both ends. This idiom is often used to describe being overworked. Now, let's practice a dime a dozen. This means something is very common. For example, cheap souvenirs are a dime a dozen. Repeat after me, a dime a dozen. Now, in context, Good ideas are a dime a dozen, but execution matters. This idiom is casual but useful. Another great one is elephant in the room. This means an obvious problem that people avoid talking about. For example, the financial issue is the elephant in the room. Repeat after me. Elephant in the room. Good. Now, in context, no one mentioned the elephant in the room. This idiom makes your speech sound direct and powerful. Let's move to rain on someone's parade. This means to spoil someone's plans or excitement. For example, I don't want to rain on your parade, but the event was canceled. Repeat after me, rain on your parade. Now, in context, she rained on my parade by telling me the bad news. This idiom is very expressive. Now, let's try under the table. This means something done secretly, often illegally. For example, he was paid under the table. Repeat after me. Under the table. Good. Now, in context, they made a deal under the table. This idiom is commonly used in everyday talk. Let's practice with the whole 9 yards. This means everything possible, the full effort. For example, he went the whole 9 yards with the decorations. Repeat after me, the whole 9 yards. Now, in context, she gave the whole 9 yards in her presentation. This is very American and full of energy. Here's another. Go the extra mile. This means to do more than expected. For example, she always goes the extra mile to help her students. Repeat after me, go the extra mile. Yes, now in context. He went the extra mile to finish the project on time. This idiom is positive and motivating. Now let's practice leave no stone unturned. This means to try everything possible. For example, the detective left no stone unturned. Repeat after me, leave no stone unturned. Good. Now in context, we left no stone unturned in our search for the answer. This is powerful and determined. Here's a friendly phrase, in the same boat. It means to be in the same situation, with someone else. For example, we're all in the same boat with this assignment. Repeat after me, in the same boat. Now in context, don't worry, you're not alone. We're in the same boat. This idiom is comforting and supportive. Now let's pause for a quick moment. You may feel like you're learning a lot, but don't worry if you don't remember everything immediately. Idioms are like seeds. The more you hear them, the more they grow inside your memory. And when you practice them out loud, you're watering those seeds. Over time, they'll bloom naturally in your conversations. Let's finish this part with a few everyday conversational phrases. You can say, long story short, to summarize quickly. For example, long story short, we missed the train. Repeat after me. Long story short. Now, in context, long story short, everything worked out fine. Another useful one is, you never know. It means anything can happen. For example, I might see him today, you never know. Repeat after me. You never know. Now in context, keep practicing. You never know when you'll need these idioms. Perfect way to end this section. Before we close this lesson, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've done together today. You've practiced repeating idioms and phrases that are not only colorful and memorable, but also deeply connected to real conversations. Each idiom tells a little story, each phrase carries rhythm, and when you speak them out loud, they give your English voice a natural flow. You've been shadowing with me, you've been repeating, and even if you made small mistakes, remember, that's part of learning. Every repetition is progress. Every spoken word is one more step toward fluency. Think about how these expressions fit into your daily life. Tomorrow, when a friend asks how you're doing, you can say, "So far, so good." When you're really happy about something, you can say, "I'm on cloud 9." And when you face a challenge, you'll remember to bite the bullet and keep going. These aren't just words, they're tools for connection. They make your conversations more alive, more authentic, and more enjoyable. Now let's try something together one last time. Imagine you're telling a story about a difficult exam. You could say, "I had to burn the midnight oil studying, but in the end I passed by the skin of my teeth. When I saw my grade, I was over the moon." Can you feel how idioms bring color and emotion to your English? Now imagine another scene. You meet a friend after a long time and you say, "Out of the blue, she called me. We had so much to talk about, it was hard to keep a straight face." When you practice like this, you're not only learning phrases, you're rehearsing real life. I want you to remember something important. You don't need to memorize everything at once. Learning English is not a race, it's a journey. Idioms and phrases will come alive in your mind when you use them again and again in different situations. So don't be afraid to repeat today's lesson tomorrow or to pause and practice one phrase many times. Fluency is not about speed, it's about consistency. And with every small step, you're moving closer to being the confident English speaker you want to be. I'm truly proud of the time and energy you've given today. You stayed with me, you spoke with me, and you've added many new expressions to your English toolbox. Keep practicing them in your conversations, whether with friends, in class, at work, or even when you're speaking to yourself. The more you use them, the more natural they will become. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. I'm here to guide you, and with practice, patience, and persistence, you will continue to grow. Never give up, and always hang in there, even on the hard days. Because every word you speak is progress, and every phrase you practice is building your future fluency. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future lessons. And most importantly, keep speaking, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourself. You're doing wonderfully, and I'll see you in the next lesson.